The evolutions within this format are going to be some of the most interesting things that you guys have wanted to see in a very long time. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So, Matthew Bauer reached out to me today. I taught my OTS championship, and then the ban list hit, and he was like, well, Robbie, this is what I would change by dropping the Fairy Tale Snow onto my deck and putting in Steam the Cloak, because this actually creates a water or basically an aqua token for this deck. I don't know how many of you really have paid attention to that interaction, but this is something. So this is coming off of a win and a slight adjustment to the deck. I mainly right now want to showcase ideas that duelists are adjusting and getting the chance to shine with. So we have one copy of Bigfoot, triple copies of Nessie, one Jackalope, triple copies of Havness, two copies of Merly. We have triple copies of Reno Heart, triple copies of Shayren, and one good old Steam the Cloak. Then we have triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, one Rhoda, one Foolish Burrow, one copy of Called by the Grave, one Instant Fusion, one Terraforming, two copies of Perily Neo with one Runick Fountain. I'm actually surprised the Runick package in here works. We have triple Runick Destruction, triple copies of Flashing Fire, triple copies of Freezing Curses, triple copies of Just the Tip, one Slumber, and one Solic. Down in the extra deck, we have one Sprite Elf, one Nightmare Griffin, one Dahark with one Curious Lad, one Baguski, one Gigantic Sprite, one Dweller, one Kitagalos, one Kaleidoheart, one Mudmud, one Dracostapelia, one Runick Wings. Keep in mind, level 2 interactions. We got two good old Gary, and then one Garuda. Side deck here is one Pankratops, triple Lightning Storm, boo, triple Mystic Mine. We have triple copies of Evenly Matched, one Summon Limit, actually, so you can technically bring this back off of, the Griffin. We have one Moonin, and triple copies of Space Rock here, wrapping up a particularly interesting flavor set for tier. Playing this with Runick is not something I really expected to see. Next up is Eldlich. Oh boy, so this came off of a relatively interesting event. This made second place out of a regional. Now, the big thing with this list is we still got Griffin Rider, Illegal Night shenanigans. We're going to rely on our adventure package to kind of stabilize things. But we're also playing, Fallen of Albaz in here as well. Because, once again, nothing is more intimidating to the opponent than staring at, like, a Mirror Jade with the potential of, actual scary cards backing it up. Also, if you go first and establish a board with, like, a summon limit backing it up, your opponent's not going to have a very pleasurable time. Like, I'm just going to be completely honest with you there. So we have two copies of Eldlich, the Golden Chicken Nugget, two copies of Fallen of Albaz, one Illegal Knight, good old triple copies of Lava Golem, one Space Rock, one Griffin Rider, and triple copies of good old Water Enchantress. Then we got triple Branded Fusion, one Called by the Grave, two Cursed Eldlands, one Draco back with one Faithful Adventure, one Foolish Barrel. We got triple copies of Pot of Prosperity, triple copies of Rite of Armesier with two Talents. We got triple copies of Conquistador, triple copies of Scarlet Sanguine, two Haguero, triple copies of Skill Drain. This is still one of the scariest cards in the room. And we got triple copies of good old Summon Limit here. Extra deck here, we got one Leno, two Link Spiders, one Dahark, one Juggernaut, one Gustav Max, one Polites, one Titaniclad, of course triple Mirror Jade, so this will give you additional filtering options through like the Prosperity. I guarantee you there'll probably be a matchup where you won't want to see all of them. We have one Lubellion and triple Albion. Then we have one Pankratops, triple Big Ball, one Harpy's Feather Duster, one Lightning Storm, one Dimensional Barrier, triple copies of Evenly Matched, one Golden Land Forever, actual triple copies of Solemn Judgment, and we have one Soul Drain down here, wrapping up our Eldlich, the Golden Chicken Nugget list. And I actually think it's kind of cool, like, just kind of seeing the variation and things that you can bring to the table here. Next up is Rikka Sun Avalon. Now, what ended up getting dropped out of here was, you guessed it, a pointer of the Red Lotus. One big thing with a pointer that, it getting ripped out of side deck cards, or getting ripped out of sides right now, is this gives you the chance to look at your opponent's hand and strip away an out. And I understand that, like, people might not look at that as, like, a powerful option. But hand knowledge on what to play around, what to negate, the perfect cards for the opponent really matters in a lot of matchups. All right, so that's very important. I also want to give a shout out here to 2 Genius Loki versus the 3 Unexpected Die. So many people will just bulk down on 3 of this, and I think that just adds one more brick to the deck. This, in combination with this, I think is the best way to go. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple copies of Lone Fire Blossom, 2 copies of Mudan, 2 copies of Primula, triple copies of Gamma, 2 copies of Rikka Petal, triple copies of the Rikka Princess, 1 copy of Snowdrop, 1 copy of Sunseed Twin, 1 Driver, 2 copies of Loki, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 1-for-1, triple copies of Rikka Glamour, triple copies of Concon, 2 copies of the Sunseed or Sunvine Sowing, triple copies of Unexpected Guy, triple Infinite Permanents, and then only 1 copy of Rikka Sheet here, kind of wrapping up your main deck. Extra deck down here, remember, you're going to be utility plant control. So we have 2 copies of Sunvine Healer, 1 copy of Melias, triple copies of Dryas, 1 Begalancer, 1 Jasmine, 2 Jasmine. We have 1 Teardrop, 1 Hyperton, triple copies of Sterena, and 1 Omega. And then we have 1 Dimension Shifter. This is actually really cool because we're playing this just so we can cross at it. We have 2 Ghost Ogres, 2 Nibiru, triple Croissant Designator, 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Appointer, and 2 copies of Evenly Matched here, wrapping up your Rikka Sun Avalon list. Next up here, boy, once again, the missing card here, you guessed it, is Red Reboot. Honestly, a deck like Math Mech, obviously it wants to rely on that OTK potential. You know what Red Reboot gave this deck? The ability just to slam itself on the table and detour through the opponent. One big thing here with this list is we're on 1 equation versus 1 super factorial. You can once again adjust your ratios. You can also play induction if you want. That's one big thing that you get with like your ratio changes between every other Math Mech deck is, you know, do I want to play induction? You know, obviously 1 equation I think reigns supreme, but you know, the differences between super factorials makes all that much of a difference in terms of deck builds. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple copies of DD Craw, triple copies of Yield Effect Veiler, still the guest card. We have 2 copies of Ghost Belt and Haunted Mansion, 2 copies of Addition. Some builds I feel like want to play 3, but 2 works. We have triple copies of Circular, triple copies of Diameter, 1 Multiplication, 1 Nabla, 2 Sigma, 2 Subtractions, and triple copies of Space Rock. You bet your butt Space Rock's play in this format is going to be absolutely amazing. We have 1 Call by the Grave, triple Signet Mining, 1 Equation, triple copies of Small World, triple Infinite Permanents, and 1 copy of Super Factorial. Extra deck here, 1 Update Jammer, 2 copies of Transcode Talker, 2 Splash Mages, 1 Almirage, 1 Avermax, because this card is an absolute unit, man. Trust me, Avermax touching down is going to ruin a lot of opponents' days. We have 1 Lingerebo, 1 Heat Soul, 1 Axis Code, 1 Laplace, 2 copies of Alimbertion, 1 Magma, and 1 Final Sigma. Then we have 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, triple Gamma with 1 Driver, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, 1 Arby's Feather Duster, 2 Lightning Storms, and triple copies of Shadow Imprisoning Mirror here, wrapping up your Math Mech engine. Definitely one of the more interesting decks out here that you can really mess around with. And the last list we have here is Sword Soul. I mean, really, how much really changes between all these Sword Soul variants, man? Like, I see we have Mystic Mine in this particular build, which is going to be one of the biggest reasons a deck like this can contribute and do well. You know, Rivalry of Warlords is also going to be one of those support cards out here that your opponent's just going to be like, why are you doing this to me? Honestly, Floodgates still are good. Mystic Mine still going to pull a lot of weight within this format. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, triple copies of Incredible Ecclesia, triple copies of Moyi. We have 1 copy of Taie, triple copies of Long Dong Strategist, triple copies of Ada Ada, triple copies of Ashuna. And we have 1 good old Synthana, triple copies of Vishuda, triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, triple copies of Heavenly Dragon Cycle, triple copies of good old Mystic Mine, 1 Potted Izizes, triple copies of Sword Soul Emergence, 1 copy of the Summit with 2 copies of Vessel. We have triple Imperm, triple Rivalry of the Warlords, and 1 copy of Blackout. We have 1 copy of Shaman, triple Monk of the Tenyi, 1 Draco Masters, 1 Yazi, 1 Cheng Ying, 1 Qingxing Longyun, 2 Chizao, which is very standard, 1 Draco Berserker, 1 Chao Feng, 2 Baxia, 1 Baron de Fleur. Got triple copies of Moonlit Chill, triple Cosmic Cyclone, triple Lightning Storm, triple Anti-Spell Fragrance, and triple copies of Dimensional Barrier. Wrapping up your chunk of very interesting power within the upcoming format. I hope this gives you like a list of things you might want to mess around with here for the overall future, because some of these lists looking kind of spicy. So guys, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later on in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.